pennies no longer being minted, pennies going away. So this has been a talker, and we have a rare coin expert joining us live now, John Kraljevich. Hi, how are you? Thanks for being here on Newsroom Live. We are excited for your insight and expertise. Thanks for being here.
For having me. Pleasure.
So tell us a little bit before we get into this right away, your background, your expertise in rare coins. Some of these coins can be very valuable.
That's right. Yeah, I started as a kid, like a lot of people. It was a hobby that I turned into a career, and for 25 plus years now, I've been associated with Stack's Bowers Galleries, whose main office is on Park Avenue in the city, and I catalog some of the most expensive coins known to man. So I've gotten to see pretty much everything over the years.
So pennies are going to be worth more and more. It's funny, a friend of mine said that her son, he said, Mom, I got to make sure to collect some pennies now because there's going to be no more and they're going to be worth a lot of money.
Well, some will be, and some have been for a long time. I mean, we've sold pennies for well over $1 million at the auction firm where I work. But the pennies that you spend on a daily basis, since 2020, they've made 31 billion of them, which is about 10 times more than McDonald's has sold Big Macs.
Wow.
They're probably not going to be real rare anytime soon. That's plenty of pennies for everybody. So I don't expect the ones that are in your pocket to be worth more than a cent. We do call them cents, not pennies. I don't expect them to go up in value rapidly anytime real soon.
So exactly to your point, although they're not going to be minting pennies anymore, the pennies are still going to be in circulation because, as you said, there's a lot of them out there.
There are. I'm not throwing mine out, and I don't suspect anybody else either. And pretty much every penny we've ever made still exists.
So some of the last minted pennies or cents, they were a little special. I was reading that, so they
Mhm.
made sure to end it off with a special little touch, so to speak.
That's right. Yeah, they call them a privy mark at the United States Mint. They applied an omega character, the final symbol in the Greek alphabet, to represent this was the end of the line. And they struck 232 of those with the omega character on them. And Stack's Bowers Galleries will be selling all 232 of those at auction next month.
There we go. So people might not know this, but I was reading this and then vetted it with you before we came here live. It was actually costing more to make the pennies than the pennies are worth.
That's right. In recent years, it's cost about 3.5 cents to make a cent. So it doesn't make a lot of economic sense to be spending that much to make a penny. And nickels are in the same boat. Nickels cost more than 5 cents to make as well. So maybe we'll see those end their run here in the near future as well.
You know, this is your world, right? And like you mentioned, you've been interested in coins basically your entire life. But for the general public, for people, you know, who are just kind of interested in the story, we have seen a lot of engagement about this topic on social media, in everyday conversations, and basically people of every demo and age group. Why do you think people are so interested in a story about pennies going away?
Well, a few things. First of all, everybody knows coins. Everyone has an intimate, familiar relationship with them and has their whole lives. But everybody loves a treasure hunt, and everybody wants to find something that will make them suddenly wealthy. And honestly, that happens. I mean, we've had things come out of people's closets that were worth millions of dollars, and things that were found by metal detectorists or shipwreck hunters that were worth a lot of money. There's not as much in your pocket change anymore that you can look for to get rich off of, but people do still find things in circulation from time to time that are worth a premium.
And let's get to the practicality of this. So we established already coins that are 1 cent, so the penny will still be in circulation. So when you go pay at the register, if you pay cash, a lot of people don't use cash anymore. They're either tapping or using their cards, right? But let's say you're paying cash. So are pennies going to be exchanged, or are they just going to kind of be there, finds a penny, pick it up, but really you can't really use it in the store? Or are you going to be getting pennies if you pay cash when you get change back?
I think they'll still be seen as much as they have been seen in recent years. Every coin the U.S. Mint's ever made remains legal tender. So if you want to spend a penny from 1793, you can still spend it. And I think just the same way that most of us kind of avoid carrying around a pocket full of pennies, that's not going to change in the future. So, you know, if you've got a penny in your pocket and it's convenient to spend it, spend it. And if someone offers you one, it's still legal tender and it's still worth the same.
Right. So again, they're going to be in circulation for a while. You know what pennies are good for? Throwing the coins into the wishing well, into the water. My son loves to do that.
Yep, they're good for lots of things. and spending money will be probably the last thing they're good at.
So just to break this down a little further, for people interested in the world that you are so connected in, you mentioned that, the pennies that you already might have, let's say in your wallet or maybe in your house, maybe you have a change bowl, maybe you have a piggy bank, they're not going to be particularly worth a lot, especially now when it comes to the rarity, to the collecting. But you mentioned that there are some special pennies that have been worth a lot of money even long before this decision was made. Can you kind of break that down a little bit, and the differences or what we should know?
Sure. So coin collecting and the value of coins comes down to supply and demand, like everything else in the world of economics. And coins that are very, very famous, but very, very rare, tend to be worth a lot of money. So in recent years, the things that have been very scarce but very desirable have been mint error things that the U.S. Mint maybe stamped a penny twice or this sort of thing. And sometimes those do come up in circulation. I saw one of those come into our store this weekend where someone had a cent that was actually struck on top of a dime. And that's a coin that's worth several $100s that this woman had actually found in her pocket change.
Wow.
Now, in other things, like in 1793 was the very first year they made cents. They made 3 different types. So each of those types is very rare. So someone who wants a 1793 change cent, for instance,
right,
in absolutely terrible condition, and condition matters a lot, just
right,
like with a used car or something. In top condition, that's $1 million coin. And even in very terrible condition, it's still $10,000 or $15,000. So collectors like to collect, and they like to compete against collectors, and everybody wants the thing in the best possible condition.
So much insight. So last question for you. Did you know this was going to happen? Were you expecting it? Do you have like some special insight like that the general public doesn't have about, specifically these pennies, that they were going to be going away? Or did you find out with the rest of us?
Well, I found it with the rest of us, but I will say that it has cost more than a cent to make a cent for decades.
Yeah.
So when this happened, we in this business, we all kind of shrugged and said, it's about time. It's been foolish to make them for a long time, and inevitably they just end up in the dish or the bottle or the box in someone's cupboard. So
right,
not a great surprise to us, but no, we didn't have any kind of inside scoop.
Well, to your point, that's been cited as the practical reason. Of course, people are full of nostalgia, and they don't have to have those feelings just yet. As you pointed out, the pennies will be in circulation for some time still, right?
And they'll still be making them for collector purposes in annual proof and mint sets. So, the penny's not going away. They didn't make the penny illegal. They merely suspended its production for circulation purposes. But if you buy an annual set from the mint, there will probably be a penny in there for a good long time to come.
Yeah, and of course, currency changes are nothing new if we look at it like globally. But, it's a talker for now. It was a big headline this week. Thank you for being with us.
Of course. Thanks for your questions. I appreciate it.